Hey y'all, Blake here. Hope y'all had a great Christmas and you are ready for the new year, especially if you're a Sonic fan. We've been talking a lot about Sonic Frontiers, but as far as the release date is concerned, Sega themselves aren't entirely sure of when. They just said during the trailer that it would drop during the holiday season of 2022, and that was it. But, thanks to a recent leak, we might actually have the official release date for Frontiers locked in, unless it's just a placeholder date. So it's basically a leak video rather than a news video, and as such I advise to take everything that's said here with a grain of salt until we know better. Anyway, let's get to it. Recently, a Twitter post came up from an account called PlayStation Size. This is the first time hearing of this account, and apparently what they do is they look up information on the PlayStation database for things like the release dates of games as well as their file sizes. How they're doing this, I don't know, but I guess some secrets are best kept to themselves, right? You can see multiple samples of their work if you simply go straight to their Twitter page. In the case of Sonic Frontiers, they dug up what appears to be the currently assigned release date for the game, but I say currently because they said themselves that this date could be a placeholder. If you're wondering, the release date for Sonic Frontiers is supposedly November 15, 2022. Once more, this could be a placeholder date, so don't take it seriously yet, but it does fall in line with the tentative release date that was given in the official announcement trailer for Sonic Frontiers. Holiday 2022. Given this information, I think we can assume that a similar release date was logged for the Xbox and Switch versions of Sonic Frontiers, as the game is going to be a multi-platform release. PC, on the other hand, we don't know much about other than that it is coming to Steam, as the pre-order page for the game has been listed on there. So for any of you Epic Games haters out there, you can breathe a sigh of relief. If the release date listed on the PlayStation database is correct, then it looks like we're less than a year away from the release of the next mainline Sonic game. And this is exciting to think about, especially given that this is Sonic's official first shot at an open world game. Yes, open world elements have previously been featured in some of his games, like Sonic Adventure's Adventure Fields and the hub worlds in Sonic Unleashed. But while the somewhat open world elements themselves, they by themselves do not make an open world game. Nevertheless, it's something that Sega has briefly dipped their toes into, and for this next game, they're making a full-on splash. Oh, I'm sorry, I should say open zone, as that is the description Sega is giving their next game. But as exciting as this is to think about, I can't help feeling worried as well. If you've been following my content up until now, you'll know that I've been supremely confident that Sonic Frontiers would get pushed back to 2023. And given that Sega never supplied a full-on release date for the game, instead simply giving an estimation, that possibility remains very much in play. Now don't get me wrong, I don't want the game to be delayed, not unless it needs more time in the oven. And this could be me speaking out of paranoia because, you know, the release of Sonic Colors Ultimate turned out to be such a mess, and it would have remained that way if patches were not being supplied for the game still, thank goodness. I just don't want the same thing to happen to Sonic Frontiers, as that would suck. And as far as how much development time went into the game, well, we don't know, do we? I can only make guesses at it, and here's what I have in mind so far. I looked up a list of games developed by Sonic Team on Wikipedia. Assuming it's up to date, it looks like their last known project was Puyo Puyo Champions in 2019. Before that, they worked on Sonic Forces, which came out 2 years earlier. The other Sonic game released around that time period, which were Sonic Mania, Team Sonic Racing, and Sonic Colors Ultimate, were outsourced to different developers, so I'm pretty sure Sonic Team and Sega still had a say in the matter. Right now, the next project on their list is Sonic Frontiers, which again is slated to be released next year. Keeping this in mind, it's possible that development for Frontiers started as early as 2019. What reinforces this idea would be the concept leaks that I covered in a recent Frontiers video, where we analyzed the trailer and talked about the leaks that came out since then. Part of me wants to hope that they were splitting up development time between Sonic Frontiers and Puyo Puyo Champions after they got done with Sonic Forces. But, though I'm no expert on the subject, that probably would not be a good idea unless you do have a team large enough to handle the task. And maybe they do, maybe they don't, well, who knows. Looking back at the Wikipedia page, Sonic Frontiers is set to release 5 years after Sonic Forces, maybe longer than that if the game gets delayed, like I speculated earlier. It would mean that a fairly good chunk of development time may have gone into Frontiers, which is reassuring to think about, because open world games tend to be packed with tons of content, and for something like that, you really do need to take your time. If development for Sonic Frontiers did indeed start back in 2019 and the game is set to drop next year, can we confidently say that 3 years is enough time in the oven? One can only hope. But if we look back at some of Sonic's past titles that didn't exactly have the luxuries of a flexible release schedule, we can see that some of them did come out the worse for wear. Others, however, had much better luck. Sonic Adventure is one example of a game that evidently had a rushed release, and yet is regarded as one of the best Sonic titles. Which is definitely more than I can say for some of his other games. Poor guy. I think of it like this. It's not always about how much time you have, but how you use that time that determines how good a game will turn out when it releases. Although some might not be confident that 3 years is enough time for Sonic Frontiers to be fully developed to the point where it doesn't crash every time you play the game, as long as Sega and Sonic Team have been using that time optimally, we may not have a lot of reasons to worry. But Takashi Iizuka has expressed lofty goals for Sonic Frontiers, for example being as revolutionary as Sonic Adventure was, and I say that Sonic's first full-on jump into an open world game definitely qualifies as revolutionary. So for that reason, I'm really hoping that they're being very careful with how they're going about this game. Like, innovate, definitely innovate, that's what we want to see, but at the same time, be smart about it. Of course, I'm no insider at Sega myself, nor am I a game developer, so I couldn't be sure enough to tell you if this is the right move for Sonic Frontiers. I'm a fan like the rest of you, so all I can do is hope for the best. Still, despite the many questions surrounding this game, I'm super excited for it. I've been even more excited since the trailer, and I'm just as excited for it today, so if the game is coming out in a year from now, then heck yeah! And here's something else that just occurred to me. If the November 15th release date holds up, we may not have to wait till either E3 or the Summer Game Fest to learn more about Sonic Frontiers, so I wouldn't be opposed to seeing the game being featured at either of those events. Instead, we could be learning about the game much earlier than the summer. Maybe another Sonic Central could finally be in the works. I know they said they weren't planning for another one this year, but we are now less than a week away from 2022, so they may be thinking about starting planning for it soon. Maybe anyway, this is just a guess. I mean, the timing would make sense. The Sonic movie sequel is about to come out, the release date for Sonic Frontiers was partly announced, and we still have a lot to learn about Sonic Origins, which they remained dead silent about since last year. But one way or another, we Sonic fans have got ourselves an interesting year ahead of us. We had a lot of good things coming our way this year, but I wonder if 2022 could top that. Let's hope it does. Anyway guys, to recap, the release date for Sonic Frontiers as discovered on the PlayStation database is currently set for November 15th, 2022. What do you think of this? Do you think the release date will hold up? Or do you, like me, think that a delay could be in the cards still? Whatever your thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, drop those likes and consider subscribing and ringing that bell to stay up to date on my Sonic content. It's been an awesome year to be a Sonic content creator, and I'm looking forward to the next level. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video, whenever it comes out. Until then, take care, don't forget, blue blurs for life, see y'all later.